You had to be 16 in order for you to get a blue belt. You know, now they've actually weaned off of that a little bit. It's not as strict, but you know, anybody who still holds like the lineage of, at least I know on the Elio Gracie side, it's still, you gotta be 16 before you hold the blue belt without question. So, you found out about your fight. It's got to be what?
Right now he's asking. Hold on.
No talking.
Just he said no talking.
What's been your routine?
Man, my routine. Wake up, eat some breakfast, go to the gym, strength and conditioning, get my butt kicked with my brother. By my brother, we do it together actually.
Awesome.
Probably about an hour and a half there. Go to jiu-jitsu. Get out of jiu-jitsu. Go running. More weight training. Go to another practice. Nap. Eat. Go to another practice.
Dude, you gotta love those midday naps. I love.
They're great.
They're amazing.
They are great. Luckily, Anthony, I moved in with Anthony a couple months ago. I told him, hey man, like I really want to take MMA more seriously. Like, this is my life. I know this is something I want to do, and he let me live with him. And I don't pay for anything. I just train full time.
You're a very nice person.
He's honestly, he's the man.
Well, I had a spare room for a little while. My fiance and I didn't know what to do with it.
And
Brian's telling him that he's thinking Anthony and letting him stay with him. Because Anthony played a big part. Like Brian doesn't have
Want to reach his goal.
So he can reach his goal.
You know what? And I would say this: take advantage of that, because you know that doesn't happen to every fighter.
not at all. Not at all. That's why I feel very blessed that I met this guy, man, and he just helped me do what I want to do.
Now, Anthony, Tony, he'll be in. Listen, we're on Off Avenue, so I got to call him Tony. But you know, he's going to be in your corner.
Yes.
You have three corners. We know who else is going to be in your corner that evening.
My coach, Marcio.
Marcio will be there.
And then my brother, Michael.
So you'll have Michael, you'll have Anthony / Tony,
I thought he
Mr.
was
Paisan,
Sherman.
Mr.
No,
I'll
his
hook you
corner.
up. I'm going to give you a place to stay. Just train. Man, I can't even begin to tell you on how many people I know that would love to be in your shoes.
It really is great, man. It's just pressure lifted off my shoulders, you know. I can wake up and do what I like to do, what I love to do, and it's training.
Absolutely, and I applaud you,
No
Mr.
shit. Anthony's the shit, huh?
And you know what? And that's I don't think a lot of people realize the camaraderie, the brotherhood in, you know, especially in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA community. You know, it's almost like a double-edged sword. You know, it could be a very political place to be, but it could also be a very family-oriented place to be. And I find it probably 8 out of 10 times it's definitely very family-oriented. And you know, I happen to own a gym up in Cortland Manor, which is an East Coast United, where Chris, but he's East Coast United, the Bronx. We're East Coast United, Cortland Manor, and you know, we're a tight knit group. But the one thing that anybody and everybody, you know, Eugene has his partnership in Trinity MMA in Bud Lake, New Jersey. And it's the one thing that we've always said straight from the very get-go. You know, that business is that business. Promotions business is this business. And, you know, even my brothers at ECU, you know, and you're watching, it's come that night, you're my brother, but I can't pick sides. And I'm just a promoter. I want you to win as much as I want Christian to win. At the end of the day, do you know who I really want to win? Somebody who is going to represent our organization the best. And that's it. You know what? When you see somebody who's a hothead or something like that, you know what? The chances are you ain't ever getting on our card again. And you know what? And I'm sitting there with my fingers like this, hoping that you get your ass kicked so that I don't ever have to see you again.
The guy,
but
the
then
host.
you know, like you get people like Gerald Javier, just like really, really nice guys, and they represent You know, Catalina
Drink.
Cat Morales. You know, they represent your organization so well. You know, kids look up like and she speaks
him
about
out.
A.L. Rios.
I wonder if that guy
But
Christian
her
is
daughter
watching.
Anne Boleyn, you know, like
His opponent.
Kit Kat is like her idol.
I wonder if Brian's
Like,
opponent
she
is
just like
watching
looks
him.
at her like, wow.
Harry got
And it's
it.
just the way she handles herself, the way she talks to kids. The same thing with G. You know, the same thing with any one
Let
of
me
our
fuck up my
fighters.
recording,
You know,
bitch.
everybody holds themselves in such a high standard, and that's something that I love.
You made me fuck
And you
up
know,
my
just
recording,
even
bitch.
meeting you and having the opportunity to talk to you for
Because
the
she
last
was looking
half
away,
hour.
and
You're
her
a
phone
nice
was
guy,
moving
man.
out of
You're
spot.
not
Out of
Mr.
focus.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Not at all, man.
You know.
Same way you beat me, that's how I am.
And the one thing I love about the league that we have is that, you know, 9.5 out of 10 times, winner
Did you text him?
with you and Christian is going to be a hug.
Yeah.
It's going to be thanks for the
Text Anthony.
opportunity.
I
And all of a sudden, your
can't. I'm on
Facebook
the
friends
phone.
and you're talking about your
Can't
upcoming
multitask?
fights, what's happening, what are you doing to train, so forth and so on. So it really has worked out very, very
know,
well.
I'm
The
not.
one thing that I've actually been able to do very successfully is segregate myself from any sort of conflict whatsoever. You know, I don't pick, like when Eugene, the matchmaker, comes up
I
and
don't
says,
know.
hey Tom, who
Hold
does he see you? I'm like, hey, you're talking
Hold
to
on.
the wrong person. Hey, you talk to JoJo, you talk to Tito, don't talk to me. You know, they're the head coaches, they're the resident black belts. Let them do the selections, because you know what, the last thing I'm ever going to do to any fighter in our league is feed somebody. I'm not going to feed anybody to anyone. You know what, I want every single fight to go 3 rounds. I want it to be a war. You know, I want people to say, holy shit, that
Okay.
was like one of the best fight nights I've
Okay.
ever seen, and I can't even believe that was amateur MMA.
That's exactly what I want. On the car right here, I was saying that if anybody asked me, like, what do I want to do, like, what's the game plan, I'm exactly what I told them. I said, I just want to make it exciting. I want everybody to go, man, was that a great fight? He's trying to do the same thing I'm trying to do. He's trying to impose his will. I'm going to do the same thing, man. But he wants it more. Let's make it exciting. Let's make everybody want to see us do it again. Let's make everybody interested in this main event. That's what I want.
Absolutely, and that is why you guys are the main event.
Exactly. Let's bring that energy. Let's do it.
Absolutely, and you know, May 10th, we have lots of great sponsors that are involved. So I got to give my plugs to sponsors that are coming. You know, obviously, Grappler's Quest, Brian Simmons, always a huge supporter of aggressive combat sports. You know, Brian's nothing short of a pioneer in the business and the industry of grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and even sport fighting, which was one of the first amateur MMA leagues in New Jersey, which, if you brushed up on your New Jersey, and for those of you who don't know, like I was on the phone with Dan Migliorato before, Big Dan. Dan actually used to run the shoot fighting and things of that nature way back when with your Steve Katz, guys that were like the ultimate pioneers. Jerry Mendez, who is going to be officiating your fight, is New Jersey's first ever sanctioned amateur MMA referee. So, it's time after time. And Dave Roski, who I don't think he's going to be there because one of his pro fighters is fighting that night. He's not going to be able to be there, but he's typically there. So, and he was Jerry's partner that evening as the tandem for the amateur MMA. So, you know, there's lots of experience, lots of, you know, really good guys that are controlling the action. Alexius Phoenix, who's probably refereed over the last 6 months, probably 100 matches. You know, he'll be in the action, but he won't be covering the main event. That'll be all Jerry Mendez. Jerry's probably going to cover most of the action that evening. But Brian Simmons, can't thank him enough. Big supporter. UFC Fan Expo in Vegas. If you have a trip in mind around, you know, the July 4th weekend, and you're a UFC fan, you want to meet many UFC fighters, you want to watch some amazing grappling, fly on out to Vegas. Make sure you tell Brian, or if you see Eugene or I, say hello. But make sure you swing on out there to UFC Fan Expo. Always a huge event. And he just, you know, he just signed on. We just got a $100,000, you know,
He's not an
benefit to
exciting host.
run what's going to be a jiu-jitsu
That's what I said. Look like
Olympics,
Anthony's being put to sleep.
where
Like
there's,
he's on
it's going to be
Bobo
yeah,
man.
like Team USA versus Team Canada up in Liverpool, New York, which is right outside of Syracuse, New York. Over $100,000 in prizes. So when we talk about an absolute advanced, like submission only, you know, 10,000 to the winner. Listen, you and I both know your Cyborg Abreu's,
Yes.
your Caillou Terres, you know, they're all coming, and that should be. And you know, right now we're in the works of possibly putting together an amateur MMA card up there as well. USA versus Canada, judo tournament, wrestling tournament, lots going on. So, you know, Brian Simmons, you know, he took a step back for a little
Brian
bit,
Estrada.
because he was burning himself out there a little bit. He was doing like 2
He's
events
burning
a
my
month.
fucking
And
battery.
I'll tell you, even with 4 people running the helm of a tournament like Grappler's Quest, they could burn you out in a heartbeat doing them 2 a month. Oh God, I hear. You know, and that is why Brian does not have any hair. I know I wouldn't have any hair.
I worked the tables from last July, and it was just hectic. It was just bracket. I'm like, geez, I can't keep up with this stuff. I had to match in like 30 minutes and I have to get ready for it. It was pretty nuts. So I can only imagine having to run the whole thing.
Absolutely. And then we also have Sadistic Athletic. Sadistic Athletic, Manny and the crew. Always have some nice, cool apparel, very affordable prices. They're actually sponsoring Catalina Kit Kat Morales as a fighter. They made an amazing walkout tee for us, so big ups to Sadistic. Can't forget Roski Combat Sports. You'll know Roski Combat Sports very well because that's the only equipment that our fighters use. So big ups to
What?
I say you're such a little white girl. Tom Paul's fucking radio. Look at Anthony.
Lasati, who was on the show here. Like, were you here, Burgundy Melissa? Yes, he was. Yeah, you'll remember Melissa, right? Yes. Yes, he remembers Melissa. Almost anybody who sees Melissa remembers Melissa. She's the cage guard girl. She's Miss Aggressive Combat Sports. You know, she'll be there. Yeah, boy! Yes. And she'll be letting everybody know what time it is. And trust me, you'll be waiting to know what time it is every time she steps into the cage. Yeah, boy!
You make it seem like it's him doing it.
You know, again, unfortunately, you know, Dave Diamante's not going to be there, so you're going to have to deal with me. Sorry. Yeah. But you know what? We're excited. You know, Sucker Punch Athletics is another sponsor that'll be there as well. And right now, I'm in the midst of talking to Christine over at Fight to Live, Live to Fight. You know, she does a lot. She just did a big benefit this past weekend for our good friend Mark Stanzewski. His son Jake Stanzewski has a very rare form. He's a 2-year-old boy. Has a very rare form of cancer. And you know, there's a bunch of black belts. You know, your Matty Serras, your Joe Scarolas. That got together, and you know, Silver Fox from New Jersey, you know, went there and put on a benefit for Mark. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, so I asked Christine if Live to Fight, Fight to Live would set up a booth, and we would allow them to run a 50-50 raffle and everything. What the heck was that?
Did he just say what the heck is that?
Man, he's coming out with all different types of sound effects. You know, so we asked them to come down because, you know what, Team Combat, Mark Stanzewski, I mean, Stanzewski, excuse me, I butcher everybody's name. Always been a big part of the jiu-jitsu community.
Get off the radio.
Really, really nice guy. You know,
He's making me
warm
fall
thoughts to him and his family,
He said he
especially to
butchers
little Jake.
everyone's name.
You know,
That's why I said
continues
get
to
off the
fight
radio.
every single day. You know, I can't even imagine. I have a 15-year-old son and a 13-year-old daughter. Man, I couldn't, and I don't want to imagine. So, you know, if you're going to come out there May 10th and you see Live to Fight, Fight to Live, know what Christine does for all people that are fighting cancer and support, because she goes out there and every ounce of her money goes to people that really, really need it, because they found out that Jake had this rare form of cancer, you know, over a year now. And medical bills are just, you know, through the roof. So, any and all help, really appreciative. Um, and that's
Again,
about
Anthony.
it. Other than that, the most exciting part of the night. I have some of the best fighters in the tri-state area. I mean, we have Bittencourt, we have Jungle Gym, we have East Coast United, we have American Top Team, we have Kai Next Level, we got Thornton, Citadon coming from Connecticut. The list can go on and on and on. We got Team Demolition. There are so many great teams that have gotten involved, have gotten on the card. We don't expect anything short of explosiveness. And we hated to put the pressure on somebody for the main event.
Never mind, you have food in there.
Let's do it, man. Let's have some fun.
Check Lily's cup. She didn't even touch it.
Absolutely.
She got floaters in there.
So, you fought in New Jersey. What
Wait, okay.
what
Ali, watch
promotion
out.
did you fight
I
for
wanna
in
hear.
New Jersey?
Actually, I fought Asylum. I fought Asylum in Philadelphia.
What was that like?
It was alright. Like, I have not much to say about that. It was alright.
So I'm only gathering there really isn't much nice to say.
Damn you!
Damn you, Nightline, whatever the fuck you are. Here you go, he's bugging out.
And if you don't mind me asking, because look, there's a lot of MMA fighters and everything else. You're not throwing anybody under the bus. You're just simply stating what you
It just didn't work for me.
what you experienced. So and listen, and now again, always we love guys with great character, and I think that's fantastic. What are some of the things that you think or you felt happened to you that just didn't feel right?
That's a true question, Brian.
3 days before my fight, I was supposed to fight at 135 pounds. They told me, hey man, your guy's hurt. My coach at the time, which was not Marcio, tells me, hey, we got this guy, Shane Manley, we really think you can beat him. What do you say? And I said, I'm kind of hesitant, but I got prepared for this fight. Let's do it. Why not? Stepping in there, I weighed about 151. It was the day before weigh-ins. And then the day of the fight, I was walking around 146, which was horrible. And
How did that work out? Yeah.
Just lost the weight. I have no idea how it worked out. Not at all. I actually had to eat, obviously, to make the 145.
Yeah.
And the kid walked around. He was just a giant. He was huge. He was probably just about Anthony's size. The guy was huge. And I looked and I'm like, man, this is gonna be great. Let's just have some fun in there. But man, back in my head, I'm like, they're definitely just threw me in there, just have a body in there. But I took the fight. I'm a man, so I had to take that fight, obviously.
And it's